friends, the beauty about practicing something that is worthwhile practicing is that there already seems to be a principle that is active in the universe or in nature or in our lives or whatever we would call that thing we can't really explain what is, but we are part of it, is that what we practice, we will become. You want to practice to argue, you can get fantastic at arguing. You practice being kind, you learn how to be kinder. You want to practice how to let go of your thoughts about that you shouldn't be thinking. You could get better at it. So what if life itself, a lifetime in itself, is a do? Everything. We started like that. Kids doesn't judge this or that, they just move and learn from playing and meeting other folk. And then suddenly it began to get very complicated. Now I would like to invite you back to where that kid is still inside of us, that just loves to learn and practice something that feels attractive. So this is a little pattern. If people ask me, what is the art of hosting, the essence of the art of hosting, I would offer this, which I'm doing right now. Took us 10 years of practicing these methodologies in all kinds of places around Denmark and Europe and America, of hosting all these wonderful methodologies, which each of them you could dedicate your whole life to and do good with it if you get good and have your heart in the right place. But we were still asking ourselves, what are we really practicing underneath the methodologies on a train ride from Belfast to Dublin? And we had been dancing all night long. So I'm saying, and we had been drinking Guinness all night long. And this was the State of the World Forum, 7-day conference that was one of the most fun parties I ever were at. 500 people, 3 generations in the room, and the best Irish Cayley band. And when they play, nobody can stand still. So in the aftermath of this, it wasn't like a lightning from God in heaven, but somehow 3 little hobbits sat down on this train ride, and my wife Monica and me and our young friend Jan Hein, and asked ourselves, what have we really been practicing? We had hosted hundreds of world cafes, lots of open spaces, appreciative inquiry, experimented with Circle for 25 years. And we had been dedicated lovers of each of them. But we realized that there's more. And what is that more, we were asking. And this pattern showed up. I drew 4 little circles on a napkin, and I'll now let you know what I just wrote in there, but I'm writing it now 25 years later, but still with a hunger to experience whatever these practices are. There are 4 practices, but it's also one practice. And if you can get this from these 3 days, it might support you for the rest of your life. At least it has done that for me and many, many of us. So, hosting yourself is one practice. Forget about the world for a second. What am I practicing so I can stay awake and conscious no matter what's going on around me? It's not an easy thing to do, but by practice we can learn. It's the simplest practice of everything. Be with your breath. I practice Aikido. You never act on the in-breath. That's the strength from the universe. And then you act on the out-breath. So that's one practice that helps me get present. any good meditation practice will offer to focus within on your breath, not to imagine, but to let go of all imagination and see what you find. So we are not saying that everybody needs to do Aikido or meditation. Find your own. Whatever makes it possible for you to stay awake a little bit more every day is what this is inviting. My friend Ria from Belgium, she says, my foremost practice of hosting myself is 8 hours of sleep. Because if I don't sleep enough, I can't stay conscious. So most of us have found 2 or 3 practices to help us host. And I sometimes write, like this morning I wrote, host yourself in 2 words. Because it can become a journey into really rediscovering who you really are. But hosting yourself as a daily normal thing is a wise thing. You all know this. And maybe you have had practices. They have, after the first love with meditation for 3 months, then you gave up and then you went to the next thing and the next thing. I suggest myself and to any of you, find that which works and stick with it. Because it's not the amount that does something. Does it help you? So, hosting yourself, and another beautiful thing in this community is that we are respecting other people doing this. So, in any hosting team, when we begin to feel ourselves that, oh, I'm losing it, and I need to host myself, it's a great, we respect that from each other. So we are creating space for this to unfold. This practice is then enjoy to be hosted. I don't know what you guys are doing in the world, but you are probably very active and doing stuff. These days, we are hosting you, the hosting team, and tomorrow some of you will begin to host us and everybody. So this is the art of being a good listener, a good lifelong student, to be curious. Curiosity, I find, is really the antidote to being judgmental. Because you can't occupy the same space. Either you're just, I am in judgmental mode, or I'm in curiosity mode. So practicing curiosity is a goal. I could make it that. Listen to understand life. Do we dare realize we have a lifetime? And one day we won't have. It's a scary reality. I'm in the age where I've been forced by 2 or 3 health things to face this. And I'm a student of learning how to face that I'm not going to be here forever. And it helps me get even more curious while I'm here. What may I learn more and enjoy more? So if I can listen to life in myself, certainly I can also listen to you. When your real self shows up. And it's a sweet thing to suddenly, you don't know the name, you don't know, but you just feel that feeling. Life is looking at life. The Indian tribe, Chalnos tribe in the west coast of Canada, that I have been lucky enough to meet and work together with, they call it the recognition of Sawak. So, all is one, one is all. I am connected to everything, and everything is connected to me. And it's a practice. So this is that kind of reality. where we are together and we show up and we are students together, just as we are here. Now, the third practice that came on that little napkin was step up to call and lead by hosting. I called it this morning. Realize that generosity we carry in our hearts. We'd love to invite people for dinner, or can I offer you a beer, or can I offer you shall we go for a walk? This is where hosting comes from. All through the ages, people have warred with each other. Human race, I mean, in my country, Denmark, there was no king for 300 years that didn't instigate a war. Just like Putin is doing it now. When are we going to grow up? So, but when all of that has happened, how has it healed? By people inviting each other to go learn a journey, or can we have a little conversation, or could we talk about it, or I'm sorry, or whatever. So that hosting is why we call it the art of hosting, to activate that generosity and hosting, love for hosting and being hosted. When it's your time, don't hesitate. If you feel nervous, that's the path. A little trembling, and soon you will be invited to sign up for all kinds of things that you might never have done. But this is the company to step through that veil of fear. And, confidence and just feeling the strength of life is what's waiting on the other side of that fear. It's also, of course, to be of service of others, because if there's nobody wanting to host, then these kind of spaces will not arise. It doesn't happen unconsciously. So if meeting each other in a different kind of space can create another kind of invitation and another kind of wiser action that comes out of it, then it is important that there's some people who are willing to get good at hosting and creating spaces for the work that is needed to arise. And then this fourth one, host together. Co-create whatever you can and begin to live it day by day. Absolutely possible. And then, of course, what nature does, it builds capacity to build more capacity, to build more capacity, to build more capacity. Shedding what is not needed anymore, and another generation comes forth. It's the impetus of life itself. And I think in many places, if you want to be the expert, so you can sell yourself as the best facilitator in town, you would not want to build capacity, because then they would become your competition. But look at what is going on in the world. Do we have time for those kind of games? I don't feel I have. I don't feel we have. Now, hosting yourself, enjoy to be hosted, step up to host, and let's host each other. The more strength you find here, it will influence what's your strength to stand in the fire and host a circle with 50 people or 10 people who has never done it before, and they already are thinking you are an idiot, and you are afraid they think you're an idiot. But just regardless, you know it works, and you just keep on. And of course, the more we can listen and give space, the more we can also give space when we work together. Because many of us are really good as individuals. But how do we make it so that it becomes units? And we are practicing it right here in the hosting teams, and you will be creating teams you don't even know with whom. So it'll be great fun. So guys, please now go to the place that you feel you have strength already. If it's that you really enjoy to be hosted, you might congregate over here. If you really have your personal practices in place, you might congregate over here. If working together with other people and co-leading, this is my thing. And I can step up and do stuff. I'm a warrior from the Sikh tribe in India. Move, please.